Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Now today I'm going to be talking about the Austrian Grand Prix weekend for F1, F2 and F3. And obviously before we get into that, like, comment, subscribe, it will really help me. So first start off with Formula 3, it will start off with the sprint race, and that was won by Jack Crawford, and then Cal Collette and Franco Colapinto ran out the podium. Behind them, in fourth place, we have Arthur Leclerc, then Roman Stanek, Kalen Fedrick, Johnny Edgar, Victor Martins, Alexander Samola, and Isaac Hadjar ran out the top 10. And then I'll go down to the top 20. We got Gary Saucy, Zach O'Sullivan, Joseph Marti. I know obviously his name is Pepe Marti as well. Ido Cohen, Frank. I think it's Francesco Pinzi, I think, or maybe it's like Franco. I can't remember. Oliver Beerman, Reese Ashima, David Van Dals, Kush Manny, and Brad Benavides ran out the top 20. And then finally, we'll go up to the feature races, just so who won the feature races, which was Isaac Hadjar, and then Victor Martins and Oliver Beerman ran out the podium. And then we have in fourth place once again is Arthur Leclerc, then Zane Maloney, Roman Stanek, Franco Colapinto, Alexander Samola, William Alatalo, and Ido Cohen ran out of the top 10. Even though I swear I can't remember where Roman Stanek finished before, but I know he got a penalty somewhere in one of these races. I just can't remember which one it was though. Then in 11th place, Juan Manuel Carrera, David Vandels, Reese Oshima, Gregory Saucy, Rafael Villagomez, Nanzim Asman, Zach O'Sullivan, Enzo Trulli, Laszlo Toth, and Brad Benavides ran out the top 20. I cannot speak right now, but that's alright. Let's have a look at the driver's standings, and here are the driver's standings. I only do top 10. I'll just do that because that's just easier for me. Victor Martins is currently 1 point in front of Isaac Hadjar. That's how close this championship battle is, as obviously the final race will be at Monza. And third place, not that far behind, is Arthur Leclerc. I think further 7 points. Yeah, 7 points. Behind Martins, and Roman Stanek, Jack Crawford, Oliver Beerman, Franco Colapinto, Cal Collette, Alexander Samola, and Zach O'Sullivan ran out the top 10. So I move over to F2. Now F2 was a bit of a also craziness as well, mainly in the feature race. I'll get to that as well later. But in sprint race, that was won by Marcus Armstrong, Teo Porcher, and Jack Doohan ran out the podium. And for the top 10, in fourth place we got Felipe Drugovich, Yuri Vips, Richard Verschoor, Logan Sargent, Enzo Fittipaldi, Dennis Halger, and Amamu Owasa ran out the top 10. Then, for the other classified finishes, in 11th place, Jihan Derivula, Frederick Vestier, Roy Nassani, Callum Williams, Clemens Novalak, Jake Hughes, Ollie Codwell, Amamu Cordell, and Roberto Meri, who filled in for Ralph Boschung. I think only for this weekend, as he is still recovering from his injuries. And then for the feature race, which is where it gets a bit crazy, I must say, a bit of a craziness happens in the feature race, and that was won by Logan Sargent, Enzo Fittipaldi, and Roberto Meri ran out the podium. Let me just say this: the podium originally was Richard Verschoor winning, Jihan Deruvula, and Logan Sargent. That was originally the podium, but now Jihan Deruvula got a 30-second time penalty, and Verschoor was disqualified because because the team couldn't get a sample of his fuel from the car, so he was basically disqualified, which kind of sucks. In fourth place, Dennis Helger, then Jake Hughes, Ollie Codwell, Amaru Owasa, Yuri Vips, Rory Nassani, and Liam Lawson ran out the top 10. This race was also filled with strategy because there was rain during the race. So there was like some teams opting for dry, some teams opting for wet. So yeah, and then in 11th place you got Felipe Drugovich. There's Jihan Deruvla down in 12th. Then Teo Porcher, Frederick Vestier, Callum Williams, Marina Sato, Clement Novalak, Amaru Cordell, and Jack Doohan right now, the classified finishers. So have a look at the driver standings, and it's currently, I'll only do top 10 for this as well. And currently, Felipe Drugovich still has a massive lead in his point standings, looking very, very good for his championship. Maybe his championship for this year, but we'll see. As Logan Sargent has now moved in front of Teo Pocher, only by 1 point though, so Sargent's doing a phenomenal job. And then behind Pocher, who's in third, is Jihan Daruvla, Enzo Fittipaldi, Marcus Armstrong, Dennis Halger, Yuri Vips, Jack Doohan, and Liam Lawson right out the top 10. So that's really about it for F2. Just a reminder that F3's next race, which is at Hungary at Budapest. I'm not really going to go into it because, I mean, there's no times for it, so it doesn't really matter. While for F2, that will be at Port Ricard, which is also where the F1 is also going to. So this is what the time is for Port Ricard. So free practice will be on Friday. That'll be on 11:35 to 12:20. Qualifying session outside at 6:30 to 7 o'clock. Sprint race on a Saturday. They'll start at 5:55, yes, to 6:40, and then the feature race will start at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So very much pretty early for the feature race, but I think the feature race, I think the race for F1 is also pretty early, so it doesn't really matter though. So move over to Formula 1, where everyone is really talking about. That was won by Charles Leclerc, who gets it done, and Max Verstappen's first backyard. The second one will be coming soon at Zandvoort. Behind Leclerc, Evan Verstappen is Lewis Hamilton, who rounds out the podium. George Russell, Esteban Ocon, as Ocon is the final driver on the lead lap. Then Mick Schumacher, Lando Norris, Kevin Magnussen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Fernando Alonso round out the top 10, which you cannot see. There you go, there's Alonso in the top 10. Then we have Valtteri Bottas, Alexander Albon, Lance Stroll, Zhou Guanyu, Pierre Gasly, Yuki Tsunoda, Sebastian Vettel, then Carlos Sainz, Nicholas Latifi, and Sergio Perez, all of the DNF drivers. Verstappen did get a fastest lap. Gasly and Vettel both received a 5-second time penalty. Gasly received a 5-second time penalty because he actually collided with Sebastian Vettel at lap 40, which basically sent Vettel into the gravel trap at turn 4. And then for Vettel, he received a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. A lot of these drivers were getting bobbed for 5-second time penalties. So, yeah, that was a lot. Yeah, that was a lot of 5-second time penalties, I must say. Well, not a lot of 5-second time penalties. There was a lot of warnings, which we will say about that. So, for stuff that happened, we'll start off with Sergio Perez down here. Well, him and Russell collided at turn 4, and Perez was into the gravel trap. Does that remind you of anything? Probably because that happened to him last year as well. Was it with the Mercedes? I think it was with I think it was with Hamilton. I think Hamilton did that exact same thing. So I think Russell did that exact same thing to Perez, which is pretty funny, I must say. Lap 24, this was actually a pretty good moment. There was a 5-car battle between Magnussen, Zhou, Norris, Alonso, and Schumacher. I can't remember what for position. I think it might be for 11th place. But I think who was it? I think it was Magnussen, Norris, and Schumacher. They all pitted, and then Zhou and Alonso was still yet to pit. So there was a great battle actually going on between those 5 drivers. Lap 33, Leclerc passes Verstappen. That's basically, it didn't really matter. I mean, Leclerc was so much faster than Verstappen and he just couldn't keep up. Lap 40 did mention that Vettel collided with Gasly. Lap 57, that causes Carlos Sainz's engine to blow up and it was actually on fire. I think it almost melted the car as well. It definitely almost melted the engine cover of the car. But yeah, it wasn't a great sight. So yeah, I mean, Sainz has been incredibly unlucky with all these reliability issues. this season with Ferrari, and I still feel like if he didn't have the reliability issues, if he stayed out of trouble, he would definitely be in the championship hunt. As of right now, as we look at the driver standings very soon, he's not really part of the championship hunt. So yeah, it kind of sucks for Sainz, I must say. And then lap 61, Russell passes Ocon to solidify himself in 4th place. Driver of the day was Mick Schumacher, who finishes in his highest finishing position as of right now, 6th place, which is really good for Mick Schumacher. Let's now have a look at the driver standings. Shut up, I don't care what you think. Verstappen still has a monstrous lead over Leclerc. That being said, I mean, still may be a chance that he may, overtake him, but I mean, it's going to take a lot of firepower to overtake him with a 38-point lead gap between Verstappen and Leclerc. So it's going to take some time. And then further behind them is Sergio Perez, who did not finish, Carlos Sainz, who also did not finish, and George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, Esteban Ocon, Valtteri Bottas, and Fernando Alonso round out the top 10. Then we have Kevin Magnussen, Daniel Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly, Sebastian Vettel, Mick Schumacher, Yuki Tsunoda, Zhou Guanyu, Alexander Albon, Lance Stroll, Nicholas Latifi, and Nico Hulkenberg round out all of the 2022 drivers. Let's now have a look at the next race, which is Paul Ricard. Have a look at the track times. So July 22nd will be FP1 and FP2. FP1 will start at 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. FP2 that will start at 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. July 23rd will be FP3 and qualifying. FP3 will start at 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, while qualifying that will start at 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And then a race that will start on July 24th, that will start at 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. So that is really about it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you guys all next time in the next one. Goodbye.